All right, everybody can hear me okay? Awesome. Thanks so much for coming and being here. I'm going to give you kind of a quick introduction again, just background about what I do and why I'm so passionate about this. First, I'd just like to know with a show of hands, how many of you are not familiar with Agile or just heard about it recently? Okay, all right, that helps. And so before we get started, I think I'll just give you the 5,000-foot view of what Agile is about. And why you would need to survive as a traditional project manager if your company does decide or talk about moving to Agile. I come from a technical background. I'm originally a software engineer. I have done software development both on the Java and the .NET side. Very passionately. I was also an architect for several years and did a lot of training in that area. And I think I came to this realization that, you know, we've got really great people on the team and we have wonderful tools and we have great expertise skill-wise. But why do our projects still not deliver either on time, or why do they still fail, or why do they just seem like they're still not successful? And so, you know, I got introduced to Agile about, I think it was 6.5 years ago, and kind of fell in love and decided this was definitely going to be my passion. Because it was a very results-driven way. It's very focused on delivering value to your customer, and quickly realized, first I thought, oh, this is a project management methodology. This is really focused on project management. And then I realized, no, this is a process improvement methodology. This is beyond project management. This even goes into, oh no, these are software engineering best practices. That's what Agile is about. And then I realized really it is probably a framework that covers all of what I just said. It's project management, process improvement. You'll see as part of this discussion, part of it involves leadership transformation, soft skill building, a whole bunch of other things. And so that just kind of tells you my story of how I got here. Obviously, I've been the local trainer and coach that has helped a lot of the local companies move towards Agile. So that's a little bit about me, Kelly. Here's our agenda. We are going to cover a little bit of Agile and PMBOK. What are they? If you guys, how many of you are familiar with PMI or PMBOK? Hopefully, okay, very good. All right, so we're going to just cover a little bit. There's some misconception about how they relate and how they differ, so we're going to go through that very quickly. Then we're going to jump into what are the skills that you need to be on an Agile project manager. Why are they different? Are they different from a traditional project manager? And then we are going to actually walk you through a journey for each skill that we talk about. I will describe it to you, and she'll tell you a real story of how she made it happen. And so when I talk to you about, you're going to need to start facilitating a lot more. She'll talk to you about how she learned to do that. When I say you're going to have to get rid, I don't know, any of you guys just went to some of the leadership tracks? Leadership talks, the Zen of Leadership, or any of the high-performing teams? So this is a very common topic that you're starting to hear. Let's move away from command and control, and let's serve the team and empower teams, right? Have you guys heard this message? Okay. I cannot tell you how agile that sounds, really. I mean, teams. Agile teams are cross-functional teams, empowered teams, and one of the biggest impediment that I have seen in so many organizations in terms of forming these teams is leadership. You know, when people are just being managed, but they're not being led, right? And you guys understand the difference, right? And so we'll talk about that, and then she'll give you examples of how Mutual actually did that, practical examples. So, and throughout this discussion, she'll be talking to you about some real-world challenges, and then hopefully we'll have some time at the end for some questions and answers. All right, PMBOK. PMBOK is the project management body of knowledge. It's an internationally recognized standard. When we say the word standard, what comes to mind? What's that? Same? Similar? Okay. What else? Huh? Control. Okay. Compliance. What else? Everybody must do it this way, right? And I think it's really interesting because when you look at PMBOK and you ask, and you can read the description of what it says, it's a general guide to manage most products. This is actually the goal that I got exactly from PMBOK. Its goal is to provide a general guide to manage most projects, construction, software engineering, automotive, government. And so a lot of people, though, the biggest problem with PMBOK is they don't know how much of it to use on their project and how much of it not to use. It's like the Bible. It's a guide. The main, have you guys heard of UML, Unified Modeling Language? So the reason UML was created is not because we couldn't draw. It was we were drawing in too many ways, and we were not talking the same language when we were drawing. right? And so, object-oriented, we had to draw the same way. We had to say, oh, this is an object. Oh, that's called inheritance. Oh, this is how we do a class diagram. We had to do it this way so that we had a unified terminology. That's the same thing that PMBOK is trying to do. For a lot of international companies and all over the world, all of us need to have some level of common terminology, common methodology for project management. That does not mean that all of us in every company have to follow every single step of it, right? I always see a lot of people that play it safe, and so I'll go ahead and fill out all templates. I'll go ahead and fill out every single aspect of the process just because I want to be safe. I don't want, I want to CYA, right? The CYA tactic. So that's what I just wanted to kind of make sure that we understood, that it's a general guide. It is not specific to software development. There's nothing in there that is very specific to software development. It does happen, it so happens though, and I learned this from Jesse yesterday, is that 60% of the PMI membership are IT, project managers. And so that was an interesting statistic. So then what is Agile? There's 4 value statements that we believe in Agile. If you kind of understand them, you'll start to see where this is coming from. People and their collaboration over processes and tools. Agile says that in order for projects to be successful, or any effort to be successful, you should focus more on getting the right people to talk to each other than focusing on processes and tools. Do you think I'm telling you here that Agile is no process and no tools? Am I saying that in any way? No, I hope, because there is some misconception that, oh, we're going to go Agile, that means we're cowboys. We don't have any processes. We make up our own processes as we go. That would be invalid. That would be wrong. Okay? Agile is saying we have focused for years. All of you, how many of you are certified? We have been educated for so long and trained for so long on the processes, on the tools, on the controls, on the reports, on the management side of it, the controlling side of it, and not spending a lot of time on how do I get people from different skill sets, from different backgrounds to talk to each other. How do I manage conflict between, have you heard this, have you been in any of the other seminars? It's like what everybody's talking about, right? How can I get my team to communicate? How can I resolve conflict between them? That's key. Working software over comprehensive documentation. Do you guys value working software? Have you ever been on a project, raise your hands, where you're halfway through the project and nothing's been delivered yet, other than documentation? Please be honest. Yes, I'd like to see more. Okay, good. Agile basically says the more you focus on that, which is the means, and you're not focusing on the end, then we have a problem. Don't lose sight of the end. The end is working software. All right? And I'll be honest with you, Agile is used for more than software development projects, okay? And so when you are using Agile for a non-software development project, what I'm basically telling you over here is, what's the goal? What's the value that you're delivering? You have to focus on that. Documentation is merely a means to an end. And of course, some people will read that as, yay, I don't have to write documentation anymore because we just went Agile. No, that's a misconception. Please hear it from me. That is wrong. Any team that tells you that, give them my card, I'll give them a call and talk to them about why that's not right. Responding to change over following a plan just means that we do come up with plans, and there's always this misconception. Oh, if you're doing Agile, you're only going to be seeing one iteration at a time, little small chunks. That's all you're going to plan for. You'll never be able to see a big picture. You're going to be lost as a team. That's not true. We have rough plans that will tell us where we're going. Our more detailed plans kind of forecast the next few months. Extremely detailed plans, as in down to the task level and down to the hour level, help us figure out what we're doing in this next iteration of work, which an iteration is this time box of work. And so we very much have plans, but what we focus on is responding to change. Responding to change. Do you guys think change happens in the middle of a project? Any kind of things, what causes change to happen?